I poured myself a glass of water and didn't bring it in here.
Why'd you do that?
Because I'm stupid.
Oh,
James,
that's a shame.
do you want to be the best human ever?
Yeah.
Can I have my water and also a ration?
Oh, right. Yeah, those seem...
Thank you. This isn't ice cream.
This thing.
Yes, please. Did you try some of this?
I tried like a little bit. It was like...
It's not bad.
It was like you explained a chocolate bar to an alien and took the chocolate as red, and the alien produces this for you, and you're like, well, where's the chocolate? And the alien's like, you never said there was chocolate in it.
Yeah, it's like you give them the entire recipe for like a Hershey bar and you omit one ingredient, which is cocoa.
Yeah.
This is a survival ration that we ate on Saturday, but it's really great because it's like covered in Cyrillic.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Anywho,
Jesus, it's heavy.
right? Dense.
Well,
Space is at a premium. What? Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Steve 1989 Emery info videos and stuff.
oh, he's so pure.
I know. I was literally at home and I opened a can of peanut, like a jar of peanuts, and without even thinking about it, I went, "Nice hiss."
Yeah, nice hiss.
If you've not watched this channel,
Yeah, go and watch this channel.
We don't have
Forget us.
any affiliation with this guy, but he's just such a wonderful human. It's this guy who reviews old and new military combat rations, and he is just such a delight.
Yeah, like
to watch
he's
in
so
action.
excited for them, right? Like
Yeah.
you would think a channel like that would just be wall to wall, like, oh, this is awful, right? But he's.
Hey, what's up?
Did you just equalize pressure?
Yes.
Or okay.
Sure.
He's so enthusiastic about it. He treats every ration like it's the best thing he's ever had in his life.
Except for the ones that are spoiled.
Yeah, the spoiled ones. He's like, I can see where this is coming from. Like this 70-year-old processed cheese is not good anymore, right?
Oh dear. Yeah, it's Steve 1989 Emery info.
Yeah.
Tell him we say hi. He doesn't live stream, but yeah. So, survival. We're back to Fallout 4. I was sick last week.
That says Marine Pro.
Neat. I was sick as a dog.
You're feeling better though.
Much
right?
better.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
good.
I'm all good. But that was really bad. So I feel like this is going to be our last episode on this one.
I believe so. We'll be
'Cause-
moving on to something else next week.
Yeah. So we're gonna see if we can we're not gonna be able to beat this game, but I'm hoping that we can get some things wrapped up.
Yeah, like examine some of its themes, and just kind of see where it takes us.
So yeah, let's flip it over.
All right.
So last we were continuing to follow the central thread of the game, which is the sort of breadcrumbs or pushpins in the conspiracy map that draws you through the story. Ooh, iguana soup. And we've met up with Nick Valentine, who has introduced to us the concept of synths and the weirdness surrounding his particular situation. So let's keep going. That's a good cover.
Megaton hair.
Yeah. I mean, that's not even that much of an exaggeration.
Pyrocumulus clouds.
Yeah, maybe. Alright, we should talk to Doggo. Here.
Dog meat. Get the scent, boy.
Come on, good Doggo.
Got something, boy?
I forgot we were wearing this.
Yeah, that kind of threw me.
Yeah, like...
Nick knows he's a synth, right?
Yes. He's aware, but what's weird to him is that his personality in every possible way is that of this detective that was, like, alive before the war. He's just like, I have all his memories and everything. It's like, for all intents and purposes, it me.
So, dog meat is just tracking now.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what happens if you don't have dog meat. It probably just shows up.
Main components: wheat flour, sugar, fat.
Keep going.
No.
Got my short gun, my shorter gun.
Yeah, the inclusion of wheat flour prevents this from just being buttercream icing.
I mean, that wouldn't be too bad to have in a ration. I heard something. Oh, they're just fucking around. Wait. There's Zelko. How quickly we lose track. Ooh, Kellogg clues.
Lost the scent, boy?
Stop here. Search around. See if we can pick up the trail.
San Francisco Sunlights.
Pick up the scent
Kellogg's preferred brand, all right.
Oh, right.
Doggles.
Okay, boy.
Really?
That's what everyone's been calling them.
Really?
I'm just paying attention to chat.
Okay. I don't have 3 eyes. Is he? Oh, it looked like he was running perpendicular to the track. I'm trying to pull out of my memory the number of side quests because, like, we regrettably are not going to be able to do many of them or any of them. And I think a great deal of this game's experience comes from those. Oh, didn't realize this was empty. Well, over his time. And there's so many good examples that just like world build or just have weird stories and
Oh God.
Aga! Like just shooting a rat in the face with an Obras, you would just end up shellacked.
Like,
I mean, you're already deaf. Come on, come on. No. There we go.
gross.
Stop!
That was very much an alien. Oh God!
Oh, God.
Oh God!
So good. You know, I think she might be on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the actress's name, but I feel like I fell down a research hole at some point.
I love how that's like the only line in that scene too.
It's so good though.
Because everyone else is just like nobody else manages to say anything.
They
right?
can't. Like, what do you even say to that? Yeah, sorry, I was talking about side quests. There's just like so many different ones, like, and some are tragic, some are exciting, some are just really weird, like the alien one, where you find an honest to God Martian,
Huh.
who's being stranded here.
That seems like a big revelation.
Yeah, but
Veronica Cartwright, right.
What is it,
Like
boy?
another one of Kellogg's
What are we
pit
looking for?
stops. Keep your eyes open.
Where did he get the teddy bear?
Kellogg was here. Let's find something to track him down.
Oh, there you
Bloody
go.
bandages.
Dog meat, pick up
Dog
the
meat
scent
can
again.
track this.
There you go. Good.
What do you
pupper.
think, boy? Enough to go on?
Alert bark.
Yeah, the Subway cup is...
Oh, hello. No, don't pitch cards.
Wow. Now it's red. The worst feeling in Pauper is realizing that Wild Mongrel cannot be hit by Doomblade ever.
Almost
And you're
there.
like, oh, this isn't actually just a way of pitching cards.
Yep.
It's the ability itself is relevant.
Magic, 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 magic. Did you play this game? Okay, so I'm trying to think of some of my favorite quests. There's like a bunch of interesting ones with like the Robco robots. Like you go into a department store and there's a bunch of robots that are offline, and you do some stuff and they all come to life and attack you. There's a bottling plant you go to take out some. You're on the trail of a kidnapping, I think. Is that a Yaogwai? Yeah, that's a Yaogwai. It turns out I think they just like stuffed her inside one of the bottling. Oh, that didn't work at all.
Oh, I hate when I come at the king and miss.
Oh, we fucked up. Let's go faster. Sorry, dog meat. I'll hit him properly this time. Oh, mop.
I really enjoyed in the long
Button.
how they dealt with the bear in the long dark.
Trying to remember how to use both. I haven't played that game in ages, actually.
Well, I just remember fighting with the bear. You could drive the bear off by entering it, but it wouldn't just shred your health. It would destroy your equipment.
Oh, that's worse.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, that's bad.
Like it would demolish your clothing.
What the fuck, Mr. Gutsy? This is overkill, but whatever. Hello.
This area is under martial law by order of provisional government command. Chinese infiltrators are known to be operating in this area.
Uh-huh.
Please provide proof of your identity. Be advised that I am authorized to use deadly force if you fail to comply.
Go fuck yourself, you crazy robot.
Analyzing. American colloquialism confirmed. Probability of use by Chinese infiltrator, 0.3%. Thank you. Report any suspected communist to the proper authorities immediately. Have a nice day.
I really love that interaction. I think if you give the wrong answer, he attacks you, but like, it's not obvious. He's like, Chai Coms wouldn't tell me to go fuck myself. You're okay. It's like, what?
Gotta watch out for the red Chinese, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, I do like that the robot characters are, like, unswervingly pedantic. Because, you know, that adds up.
Right. Dog meat's found something.
Like, the climax of Fallout 3, which I really love. Did you play Fallout 3?
again, no. But
So,
go
sorry,
ahead. Sorry.
yeah, the climax of that game, you join up with the
Gwyneth Stout.
Election or
With
something.
One of his
Brotherhood of Steel to storm
I'm telling
the
you,
whatchamacallit,
that nose is
whatever it is, the
second to none.
MacGuffin base, and they
What do you think?
put
Gwyneth? Want to
online
go on?
this robot called Liberty Prime, which is like a wartime relic, and it's so majestic because it turns on and it just starts spouting like American propaganda and like baseball chucking hydrogen bombs. It's like, I will destroy all Chinese communists. And it just like keeps bellowing these slogans as it like just, you know, clanks forward and like shoots its fucking eye beams. And it's seriously got a backpack full of, you know, atom bombs, and it like picks them up and just goes like it does a fucking football like throw. It's the
Wow.
most American thing ever. So it's a really memorable set piece. Hello. Oh, I hate these guys. Go away. Just stop being alive, please. Shh. I think the guy lied to me about how many minutes of anger this does. He's like, democracy is non-negotiable. It's very good. Thanks, Nick.
What are the conditions under which ghouls go feral? Because I mean, I really enjoyed the intelligent ghouls that were managing the nuclear power plant.
Yeah, it's and they're still here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we haven't seen any of them, but they're definitely still around. So, the ghouls in this game, actually, this is a great thing to explain. They're atomic zombies,
Right.
and some retain their intelligence, and others don't. And they're all immortal. So many of them have memories from before the war, and that makes them like very interesting characters. And like again, because they've undergone this transformation, that sort of advises their personality. In fact, I believe that the guy who came to your door at the beginning of the game is a ghoul.
Oh, really?
You meet him later, and he's just like, "Oh shit, it's you."
The guy who sold
Who
you
sold
the-
you? Yeah, the.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, they.
Oh, right, and then there's the Chinese submarine
Yeah,
in the
and-
bay.
Yeah, and that guy's being stuck inside there, and his crew's gone feral. I think after a certain amount of time, or like, there's speculation on what exactly causes it. Yeah, it makes them very interesting characters because like, there's a couple of, I think there's at least one mission where you Oh shit. Hold on.
Hell of a party happened here.
Oh yeah, that's.
Attention, assailant. Lower your weapons immediately.
Why didn't I hit it? Oh, it's just its head. Oh, thank goodness.
What have we here?
An assaultron?
System corrupt. I can't feel my legs.
Yeah, they're.
Just tell me where Kellogg went. Tin can.
Identity of assailant. Kellogg.
We're still on track. Hopefully he's not much further.
It's a sexy robot that tries to kill you.
Huh.
It's a standardized model of attack robot. They're very scary.
I imagine battle droids are usually kind of frightening.
Yeah, they just sort of charge at you with these like laser talons and then shoot stuff at you and oof. They're not the kind of threat you want to encounter.
I know.
Actually, sorry, go ahead.
I keep coming back to this, but the amount of wear and tear in this game is so minimal compared to what you would expect to see in like 200 years. Right? There are parts you can find places in North America that look like this after kind of 20 years of
Yeah.
neglect. Right? Like roads in northern Canada just do that. Right? Over the course of a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, right? Like, I mean,
But I suppose there has to be something recognizable for players.
yeah, exactly. And it's also like this game has a healthy dose of suspension of disbelief.
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
And I think it does leverage its kind of tongue-in-cheek nature to good effect. In a lot of situations.
What do you think, boy? Huh?
So it doesn't pretend to
Is
be
this our
like
man?
super realistic. But, there is an attention to detail. Your roads in the southern US do that. I'm gonna save,
That seems reasonable.
just on the off chance that. Radar dishes. Yeah. That red stag dough. Come on, it was good.
Okay, fine, it was good.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, it's just a blood bug. Can we stop wasting time? Oh, you're so fucking gross. So gross.
Ugh.
I'm gonna stick him. Oh. Fort Hagen. Fort Hagen?
That dog's got one hell of a nose. He'll
Is this
sniff
the place?
someone
Huh? Is he in here, boy?
out. You dog meat would sniff our man out. Let's you and I take it from here. Give our four-legged friend a break.
Hey,
Command.
wait there.
I'll stay put.
Oop. Kill dog meat.
Hey, boy.
Curious sound.
Everything okay, boy?
Woof.
Don't worry, dog meat. Just saying hello.
Completely unrelated, Julie found a link today to an article about how this one zoo gives its animals paint and paintbrushes,
Yeah.
and like the animals love it.
That's really, really cute.
Yeah, the header image was a picture of a red panda with a paintbrush,
Oh!
enthusiastically painting a little picture.
That's quite adorbs. There we go. Dinger!
Yeah, it's an ambush.
What's my... Shooting at each other now? Doggo, no! Oh, fuck. I thought there was a way up over here. What? That fucking baseball slide.
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
you're out. Yeah, does it beat an otter asking to be petted? Probably not, but it is
Wait,
close.
an otter being petted?
Well, it was this animated GIF I found or saw online of an otter. It's a video of an otter climbing up someone's leg
I thought
and
it's-
doing this,
That's really adorbs.
and then they look at it some more, and the otter's like lifts up its hand and moves its hand,
That's quite...
and then the person's like, I don't know, and the otter goes,
That's really cute.
right. It was completely imba. What is it? No,
I hate these things so much. It's trying to put stuff in us.
Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, God. Here, let's do this the correct way.
Mm.
That one. Did you know you can sneak attack robots?
That, I mean,
Take that, D20. There we go. Ugh.
Dog meat's stubborn.
Is this the place? Huh? Is he in here, boy?
At least it's not Fort Gaben. Oh, I didn't realize we were left-handed. But we should be shouldering the rifle on our... It's because the bolt handle's on the left.
oh yeah.
This is... I think
One of
we
the
talked
yeah, you
about this
mentioned
last
this earlier.
time.
It's the video game concession to
To coolness.
yeah.
Yeah, Stalker does that, where the ejection port is on the left side. Because it's more cool.
Yeah, to see the brass like fire across your field of vision.
Yeah, I mean, respectfully disagree, but... What can you do? Oh!
Hmm.
Lend a hand, Uncle Sam. Support our troops, buy war bonds. Well, we were too clear on how war bonds actually work. But it was always something we were meant to buy.
The hand wave is that okay. Yeah, no, I can believe that, Drowsynth.
Which?
Oh, just why things aren't completely like demolished. after a couple hundred years,
Oh, hello. A settler.
is that the radiation was high enough that you didn't have a lot of plants growing, so no roots to tear things apart, and the climate is so fucked that there's no winter to freeze and thaw the ground.
Ah.
And I can totally accept that, right? They wanted to advance the timeline, and they wanted to, while maintaining the kind of the look they had established, the atomic punk kind of look.
Atomic punk. Yeah, that's definitely how I would describe this game. Atom punk, like 50s atom punk.
Only it's not terribly punk, I guess.
I honestly never really thought about that. I always just thought that punk was like a an indicator for like a subtype, because. But you're right. Like,
well, yeah, the cyberpunk was from a street level view of a science fiction setting in which technology only percolates to the people on the lower social rungs as a basically a means of increasing their misery, right? Like the things that percolate down are like, cheap, shitty cyberware and weapons, and somehow more unpleasant food.
Paradoxically, more unpleasant food. I mean, you're right. I mean, I was kind of thinking in terms of because there's nothing especially punk about steampunk.
No.
Which I have a lot of feelings about.
Well, yeah, because steampunk, a lot of it is like, oh man, imagine if, Victorian England got high technology. It's like, no, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Right, and a lot of the cyberpunk stories deal with, these very kind of like bottom of the rung characters struggling to survive against these essentially invincible power structures that use this technology to extend their lives and
If you can unlock that terminal?
increase oppression.
If anybody has the link handy, which they probably don't, I posted a series of tweets a little while ago. It's like steampunk, what I wanted versus what I got. And, there's a bunch of stuff like steam tractor, and that's the thing that really frustrates me about steampunk aesthetic stuff. Is it's just like knobs with gear hats, mostly. And not a lot of actual goddamn steam.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting.
Are these synths?
Yep, they're really gross, nasty looking ones. A lot like, the synth design in this game, I really, really, really like, actually. Like, they're so delightfully creepy. I might need to find some more shotgun ammo, but...
That was like, well, I think one of the things that we agreed that Alien Isolation did really well was the synthetics.
Yeah, those are really good. I'm out of everything.
Ooh.
That's bad. Let's see what our... 308. I don't know, I can... Submachine gun. Oh, okay. We'll figure this out somehow. What the hell was I saying? I think I was bitching about steampunk again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, my impression on this is that a lot of it is very, I mean, Americana has always been very present in Fallout. But
I'd say it's a defining feature.
I mean, one of the things that we never saw in Fallout 2 was, a proudly waving American flag, even in the Vault Dweller settlements, where you would expect people to have emerged from their vaults and want to go out and reestablish America, and we didn't get any of that, right?
Yeah.
But here we have a lot of people, like, cosplaying as Minutemen.
Yeah, I mean, I think we addressed that.
Yeah, this is something that I've talked about, I know. But Because that seems way more of a nationalism thing rather than a patriotism thing. Because you can't be patriotic for something that doesn't exist anymore. Really.
Unless
like,
you're a reenactor.
Yeah, but even then, it's devotion to a thing that has been destroyed, right? Doesn't work in that mode.
One present. Extron on duty.
Uh-oh.
No, I think he... I'm pretty certain he works for us.
Oh, okay.
This is a brief little, multiple ways of dealing with situations you encounter. If you have sufficient hacking skill, or in this case, you brought Nick with you, you can hack this terminal and bring these guys online. So, and I've set his personality mode to law enforcement, so I believe he's just going to keep the peace.
Okay.
But just to say, shoot everybody who's not us. So do I sight down the screw? Or do I sight... Oh no, I sight down the post.
Weird.
Why would you not break that off? So you'll note that they're kind of shitted up, but they have these like wildly sci-fi laser gun things.
Yeah.
Which I'm probably going to have to grab one of. Oh boy. I forgot the quick use button. Fuck it, I'll just have a soda.
Kellogg has ordered your termination.
That's nice. Oh, actually, let me just... Oh, I didn't have it set. Let's go... Ultra Jet? Yeah, alright.
Nothing. Perhaps my sensors need calibration.
Jesus, Nick. Tetsuo! Got it up. So, automatic Institute pistol.
Huh.
That's kind of interesting. Not, I mean, these are so.
Here my target has
God damn.
disappeared.
They're so
Yeah, they're
wonderfully
disconcerting.
creepy. Like this sort of, one of these like mid,
Understand?
Like T600.
mid development. This is the T600 that they reference actually. They in the first Terminator movie, fuck, what's the protagonist?
Kyle,
Yeah.
well, not...
Kyle Reese.
Yeah, Kyle.
He talks about how the early series were easy to spot because they had plastic skin, and that's just so fucking disturbing to think about. I'm gonna eat some more food. And you know what? Let's have a beer. We're going to go into this just a little bit buzzed. And I think that's a landmine on the ground. Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
they're helpfully marked. But yeah, the synths in this game do progress through this sort of uncanny valley. Although they sort of skip a step. Because, like, this is about as creepy as they get before they are indistinguishable from humans.
Find something in here, because that may take a while.
Dinger. This is actually not a bad simplification of lockpicking. You know, the torque wrench and bobby pin.
I mean, fundamentally, you're just trying to...
What?
give the player some kind of challenge that approximates Yeah.
Ooh, let's take this Institute rifle, and we'll put that on. Six. Sure. I hear a sentry. I think it's above us. A lunchbox with mongrel dog meat in it. That's good. Smoke. I really love how shitty the computers are. In this
Yeah,
game.
that looks like the one that the computer terminal that Spock caves in
Hostile sensor reading detected.
in Star Trek. As opposed to that other Spock, I guess.
Oh, right.
He usually shows up in animated GIFs.
Yeah, where he's just like,
Yeah.
just kind of emotionlessly. You know, he goes through it with about as much investment as like crunching up a tinfoil wrapper. Hello.
Hello.
Chain to the other side. So this is kind of an example of what we're going through right now. It's a dungeon. Like, this is a dungeon that we're walking through. And I never actually played Oblivion or any of the Elder Scrolls games, but I'm under the impression that they're very similar. Where, like, you enter a place, you know, you sort of wind your way through it. There's a bunch of stuff for you to do, a bunch of mobs for you to fight.
My scanners must be malfunctioning.
And most of the a lot of the content in this game is rendered in this way. So it kind of has a little bit in common with, you know, a pen and paper RPG like, you know, Dungeons and Dragons, where
Right.
it's ostensibly an RPG, but it is also mostly a combat simulator.
Right. Where we have, like, only really a few modes
Yeah.
of these tried and true kinds of ways of parsing stories.
Interacting with the world.
Or, yeah.
Are you attempting an ambush?
Maybe. Oh. Hi! Are you gonna punch me? Oh god, it's still coming. Oh, that was scary.
Hey, toss anything.
I am detecting stealth activity.
Why? Because I'm crouching?
Secure facility. Infiltrated. Termination. Required targeting sensors fully operational.
Nice. Oh, there's so many of them. Are they coming from upstairs?
I don't think so.
That stupid bolt I keep trying to sight down.
Yeah.
Oh, hi! Oh boy! It's like you enter the room, you see no enemies. Really? Oh god, I just made him scarier. It's a good thing that I quick save. It's like you see no enemies. You enter the room. Oh, except for the two enemies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah! God, I wish I had some shotgun shells.
It's like when your friend's like, okay, put your hand in this bucket of peeled grapes and pretend they're eyes. It's like, no, wait, shit, I did it wrong.
Ow! Oh boy. Wow, that he really gave it to me in there. I should probably actually put on something resembling armor. just so we don't get too many people screaming at us.
Fair enough.
That's the actual reason.
Yeah.
Glowing fungus, mongrel dog meat. Sure. We're not wearing any underoos. I don't understand the problem. Hi. God damn it.
Someone.
I'm fine. Somehow.
Got him.
I literally ate away my my busted leg. Oh, this is kind of upsetting to watch. No! Nick!
Oh, he's on fire.
He's fine.
So, are synths what happened when we put the people in?
Oh boy!
Like, is this what happens when we put the people who melted the ice caps trying to mine Bitcoin in charge of developing artificial life?
Probably. I mean, I could get that read.
What's that?
Nick!
Ah, Nick!
Door stuck! Door stuck!
Couldn't stay away, huh?
Has ordered your termination.
I bet he has. Could oo not. Ow! Fuck, I turned my back on an enemy I knew was there. Why am I shooting the barrel? Eat it! American flag. Ooh, we can... Wait a second. Oh.
Like, what would that mean to anyone?
What?
Now.
Mining Bitcoin?
No. The tri-folded American flag. What would be the significance of that to anyone?
It's interesting. I mean, it's like... I suppose it depends largely on how much... what's the word I'm looking for? Continuity
Scanning.
there would be, even in the post-war. Because not everybody was killed.
Right.
It might mean a great deal. It might have been something that was, like, very deliberately preserved. And its meaning carried on. Because, like, wouldn't be the first time we've encountered some sort of, like, almost life-extinguishing event.
Mm-hmm.
We have some amount of history from before the Black Plague.
Oh, well, yeah, but, like, the Black Plague had a dramatic effect on, like, England. The language we speak, that we call English, emerged after the Black Plague when everyone who spoke actual English was dead.
Ain't that a bee? Oh, he got disintegrated.
I don't know, I suppose it's kind of reassuring that even after entering into a civilization-annihilating nuclear war, Americans will still mythologize America. Right? Some things are basically unkillable. Right? After a nuclear war, the only thing that'll be left are cockroaches and, majestically waving American flags.
Made in China.
With people saluting them, I guess.
My brother went to a knick-knack store somewhere in the States, and he always regrets not picking this up, but it was like a lighter that was like an eagle, and when you press the button, the flame would come out and go, America, 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 America. I feel like it's actually a difficult task to parody Americana, because it's so ridiculous to start with.
Right. Imagine for a moment that this wasn't set in Boston.
Yeah.
That this was in fact set in Montreal.
Yeah.
Or Vancouver. Would you have people running around in colonial era garb?
Or like
That's it.
I'm dressed as a fur trader.
Yeah, or a Mountie.
Yeah, that's what. That's our cultural identity that anyone will give a solitary shit about.
Right. Would you see tidally folded Canadian flags? Right.
Yeah,
if this was
so.
set anywhere else.
I mean, I'm sure part of the reason America was chosen, like in this particular area, is because it is interesting and there is a lot of material to work with. I'm gonna level with you. Canadian culture is not that interesting.
Well, I mean, it definitely exists. It's a thing, but I don't think we have the same attachment to the signifiers of it.
We're also quite a young country.
Well, I mean,
in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, Europeans would say that, you know.
Oh fuck! It can turn around.
The United States and Canada are kind of on the same order of age.
I'm just gonna drink a beer and think about what I've done. I'll just let Nick deal with this. That's fine. This is fine.
Break a sweat. Not that it's an hobby.
He's such a good wisecracker. I'm trying to figure out where the fuck I'm supposed to go, because I'm actually powerfully lost. I think I need to go downstairs, but downstairs is locked. So I'm gonna just keep trying.
Well, I mean, you always hear Americans try to, like, not always, but, you know, Americans have this thing where they're like, why do we have this fascination with the trappings of our country, right? And it's like, well, we fought a war for independence. Is that it? Well, a lot of people fight wars for independence. You know, what are the genetics of the particular breed of American patriotism or nationalism? I don't know. Right? I don't know what the roots of it are.
It's quite a pickle.
Yeah. I'm not condemning it. I'm just... It's...
You're just trying to follow the like...
Yeah. The joke I made a couple of years ago was that when everyone was really into Hamilton, I was like, oh, well, I'm really glad that Americans now have this way of, you know, mythologizing their founding fathers. You know, just looking back proudly on
It's like...
on figures like George Washington and finally looking back with pride.
Finally.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a room. It's like, at last we got it.
Mm-hmm. Something that Americans can feel patriotic about. I'm very clever, okay?
It's good. I think there's a wall I need to blow up.
Yeah, there was a synth behind, yeah, in here somewhere.
Yeah, I need to get in here.
There were those, I guess the gas canisters.
Movement detected. Curious.
Okay, so there's something that's chained. Nick, did you go around and figure out the way in? Nick?
Termination is inevitable.
Nick? God damn it, Nick. How in the fuck did you get in there?
Eliminated hostile.
I'm super hurt. Oh yeah.
Oh, apparently you have to drop down.
Huh. Well, it's over there.
Asset. Hello.
where do we drop down into it from, pray tell? I'm like low-key salty that I'm having so much trouble figuring this out, and Nick is just already in there.
Hello?
Video games, the perfect medium.
Well, yeah, I think probably a lot of it has to do with, like,
Detected. Combat initiated.
essentially the Cincinnatus myth around George Washington.
The what?
Cincinnatus was a Roman emperor who was dictator. He was named dictator when, you know, the idea is that, at least the mythology is that the Romans, in times of great crisis, would assign dictator powers
Yeah.
to one person. So, you know, to cut down on essentially decision making. General, not emperor. Last I'd heard, there was some debate over whether it actually ever happened or not. And in one of the times they did this, they assigned dictator powers to this guy named Cincinnatus, and he, when the crisis was over, he returned them.
Huh.
Right?
You're trusting people
Yeah.
to do stuff.
And they were like, holy shit, he actually did it. He gave back the...
I mean, maybe he was like, I don't fucking want this shitting. Okay, where did you come from? God damn it, Nick. Wait, did he just go...
Oh, he did it twice. Okay. Go left.
Oh, my God. I'm so angry.
So, yeah, George Washington turning down becoming King of America is something that, you know, probably contribute a lot to his mythologies.
Okay. Let's see where we have to go. Ooh, Salisbury steak. I'm sure that's still good.
Nice hiss.
There's a fucking garter snake inside it. Oh,
Nice hiss. Steve, that's a cockroach.
Think you can unlock that terminal?
well, are there any other examples of countries that have that much of a sort of like national identity?
Well, I mean,
I feel like anything with a identifiable like tourist thing.
England seems to have.
Yeah, England.
Isn't that a frag
I was
mine on the
gonna
ground?
say- Is it? Oh, so it is. Good eyes.
I'd
England,
imagine it's
Japan, China.
Yeah, I'd imagine these are things that... Oh, definitely... well, at least... I don't know if China has a hard-on for Mao anymore. Because I remember, like, a few years ago when a friend of mine was teaching there, he came back with a bunch of, like... The cult of personality around Mao is really big in the souvenir department, at least.
Oh, right.
He had a watch where Mao waved at you as the second hand.
I feel like it's more of a souvenir thing for like
Tourists? Yeah.
non-Chinese people, like non-locals. They're like, oh man, that guy with the red and the being communist, lol.
Yeah, that might just be it.
Oh yeah, France as well.
Who did the French mythologize?
Themselves?
Well, I guess so, but like you'd think after the revolution, the mythologizing.
Oh, you're looking for
single
like a
people-
singular feature, as opposed to like England was like the Queen.
Right.
Um,
Napoleon?
I don't think
Really?
they mythologize. Well, okay, they mythologize them. Maybe I'm conflating
I don't know, though.
mythological like mythologizing with glorifying. Oh boy. Hang on. Fucking asshole. Come on out.
De Gaulle?
All painless is waiting.
Advanced Institute sensors available.
Oh, they're artists.
Underestimate us again.
Like,
I'm honestly asking here. If you know, let us know. But if you're just spitballing, then
Walk away
Yeah, I guess. Kemal Ataturk in Turkey.
Oh, he likes it. He loves it. Nick, what are the 3 laws of robotics? I'm talking about number 2. Never mind. They're not allowed to. Well, they're not.
Yeah,
they're
not-
not supposed to let themselves
yeah,
be
through-
damaged.
Unless it contravenes.
Yeah. What's the third one again? I always forget. that one.
Well, the first one is don't let humans come to harm. Don't let yourself come to harm. And the third one is like the safeguard one. That's like don't contravene this unless like or obey orders. Right, unless yes.
Right,
Third
right,
one
right.
is obey orders from a human unless it contravenes 1 or 2. And then what was the 0th law?
Visit my old friend, the frozen TV.
Oh.
Last time we met, you were cozying up to the peas and apple cobbler.
Oh. Zeroth Law was about humanity.
Okay. Oh, protect humanity as a whole.
Hmm.
Right. Whereas it was the first law was about protecting humans.
Yeah, individuals.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I need to kill this human to greater good. I quite like Asimov's short stories. They're like, they take a fairly straightforward premise, i.e. like the 3 laws of robotics, and do a whole bunch of like little thought experiments with them, if you will. They're quite entertaining. It's been ages since I read them, though. Here.
I really enjoyed one interview I saw with Asimov where he was asking, you know, like, you see a lot of fiction where, you know, these terrible robots wind up killing us all. But if we can make a robot that is stronger and smarter than us, why couldn't we make a robot that is gooder than us?
Ooh, yeah, actually.
And in order to do that, you would need to have robotics engineers that prioritize the humanities as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's... It does bother me how often,
Your house has been a wreck for 200 years. I don't need a roommate. Leave.
how, like, the typical scenario for, like, robotics in fiction is they're going to go berserk and kill us all. That's most of it. And I'm not saying that that's a bad scenario to explore, but it's just like, it's the only one they explore.
Yeah.
They're always going to go crazy and they're always going to kill us.
What if New Thing is bad? Right? I mean, that's Black Mirror,
Yeah.
right?
What if your cell phone killed you? Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's like your average, well, it's like how you sell a political comic to a newspaper.
Oh.
You just draw people being distracted by cell phones.
Never expected you to come knocking on my door. Gave you 50-50 odds of making it to the city. After that, figured the car.
I might get you.
Oh yeah, caveman Black Mirror. What if fire, but too much?
I mean, that's not even like off base.
What if burying poop go too far?
Come on. Oh god, he just took a 308 round to the mouth.
I mean, Aaron Diaz, for all his other, you know, problems with his work,
Yeah.
did a really good caveman comic where it was just like, I think a caveman digging a latrine
Yeah.
and being like, "Meow, go too far" as he falls through the flat Earth, right? Another one is him burning down everyone he knows with fire.
Oh no.
Um,
Yeah, no, he's
you know, I think there was a domesticating animals one,
that's really funny.
right? Like, were there Paleolithic humans who were like, what if the dogs go berserk and kill everyone?
Holy shit.
We have turned over all of our jaw power to these animals over who we don't control. yes, caveman science fiction. That was it.
So I hate to stop in the middle of this, but we should probably actually take
Oh, a break?
a quick break. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
I also need to dig a latrine.
Okay.
So
We'll
right
be
back.
back in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Do some self-care, chat. See you shortly. Where's? There we go. Hey, we're back.
Hello.
All right.
Let's give her.
I think just to go with the idea of like primitive science fiction. Ted Chiang in if you've seen or heard of the movie Arrival, it's from it's based on a short story called The Story of Your Life, by an author named Ted Chiang. And in that collection, Stories of Your Life and others, there's one called, I think it's just called The Tower of Babel. And in it, his notes on it are like, I wanted to write a science fiction story that Babylonians might have written, or Sumerians might have written.
Nice.
And in it, the main character is like, I want to say he's a bricklayer or a mason of some kind, who has been hired to help finish construction on the Tower of Babel.
Oh.
So, he arrives in the city and goes up the tower, and it takes many months to travel up the Tower of Babel, right?
Brief aside. I paused here because this is a wonderful little piece of storytelling. Like, we're in this old, this facility. We've opened a security gate, inside which is a safe and a camera, and there's tons of money. And this isn't worth much, but this is.
Huh.
And I like that.
I like that.
It's just sort of you're just like, there's fucking water in here! It's like, because the pre-war money is literally useful only as paper.
Yeah.
It has no value. So, I think that's something they've done in a lot of different sci-fi. They do it in Fist of the North Star, actually. Like, the Mohawk bandits wipe out this caravan. They're going through their stuff, and they find like some gold and jewels and money, and they're like, and chuck it,
right,
and take all their food and water. Although it is kind of funny because some of them are still hanging on to it for some fucking reason. Don't know why. Wait.
Anyway, the story is that like the main character and I think a bunch of Egyptian I don't know what the profession is called when you work in a quarry, right?
Stonecutter?
A stonecutter, I guess.
A mason.
Yeah, because the Babylonians have brought them in to breach the vault of heaven. Because they've built the tower all the way up.
Yeah.
And they've hit the top.
Of heaven.
Right, they've hit the roof.
Yep.
And the roof is made out of marble. And they need to get through it to get into heaven.
Okay.
And so it actually goes through like this wonderfully
Heck of a
detailed problem where the Egyptians are like, yeah, we can do this. I think we can breach this fucker, right?
Wait.
Where are your clothes?
I think I did something wrong. I'm not sure what it was, though.
Good.
I figured this out last time. What the hell was the put away?
Terminating intruder.
Huh.
That's weird.
That's not how... I like how the bra texture goes straight into the spine thing.
There we go.
Anyway, they breach the vault of heaven, and emerge on the ground. Right, they've looped away through, and he's like, I wanted to write a science fiction that would have been understandable to somebody living, in
That's
Sumerian
pretty cool.
times. I was like, oh, that's neat.
That is really cool. why are we talking about Mega Tokyo? Which is still going with the same art style. Like, don't get me wrong. Bless Fred for earning a living doing what he loves, but then fucking comic, man. If I just put a haze of pencil lines, I won't have to draw where the line actually is. Ow.
Oh no, chat, you don't get to pin Mega Tokyo on me. You did this to yourselves.
Are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? This is a minor... Really? They left a window there for it to get you? That's fucked. In the wasteland of the future, the only remaining calibers are 38 Special and 45 ACP. No 7.62mm for some reason.
What's the, what did the Chinese use?
In what?
Their rifles, I guess?
Same thing the Russians use, 7.62 by 3.9.
I guess at some point, we're going to have anthropologists being like, so the reason that, you know, our laser rifles have a barrel width of 5.56mm is that thousands of years ago, right, it'll be like, the reason that, I think this was an episode of Connections, where the reason that rails are a certain width apart, why trains have a certain gauge, has to do with...
Oxen? Yeah,
oxen in Rome, or some shit.
That's pretty fucking wild, my dude. Oh, no. Okay, sorry, okay. But... I'm thinking too far. Okay, modern, I think Chinese rifles, which I think are a variant of the AK-74, use 5.45 by 39, I think.
Huh.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, 5.45 rounds replaced 7.62 for the most part.
Huh.
It's just like... Yeah.
Yeah, and then railroad widths also have, like, knock-on effects for all kinds of industrial shit.
Gimme!
Like,
Gimme!
To Crash Sword. Is that true? They actually... I mean, that makes sense that they would affect the maximum size of a rocket booster.
Wow.
Right, so...
Thanks, Oxen.
Yeah, at some point, our most high-tech devices are based on how skittish Roman oxen were being next to each other.
How about that?
You got guts.
Oh boy.
It's admirable. You are in over your head in ways you can't possibly comprehend.
Fuck you! Where's my son? The dumbest gun in a realistic FPS you've ever seen? I don't know, man. I would probably need some... He's fine. Ah! Stop it! Ah! That's gonna be me soon. Oh, it's... He's a biggin. Oh, shit. He's in Defilade. Or Defo? Whichever one's bad for me. I gotta save these for Kellogg. Oh, just... What did you...
Is that like, in Alien, Ash
yeah.
kind of just winds up slapping people?
Oh god.
But because he's, you know, he's got super synthetic strength.
It's actually like, yeah.
He just has bone crunching
That whole
power.
sequence, yeah, the whole sequence is amazing because, like, he just sort of, like, backhands somebody and they go flying. My favorite is when, not Dallas, the other guy comes over, and he just sort of like he's trying to pull.
Oh, Parker.
Yeah, Parker's trying to pull Ash off with all his strength, and Ash just sort of like looks over at him like he's an insect, and just sort of calmly goes like, and just squeezes his chest, and he's like, ah!
Yeah, it's like that scene, was it Enter the Dragon, where Bruce Lee tears off Chuck Norris's chest hair so hard he dies?
Does that actually happen?
All I remember is that Bruce Lee just like grabs him in the chest, and then Chuck Norris is dead,
shit.
and Bruce Lee has to like blow his chest hair out of his hand.
That's really hardcore.
Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but that's the way that entertains me. It's like, yeah, Ash is a completely inept fighter, but because he's got strength 40.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, when he tries to feed her the magazine, that's so...
yeah, that's weird.
I think
right?
Alien's my favorite movie. I fucking talk about it all the time. It's just so fucking good! I mean, it really is a shame they only made 2.5 of them.
Yeah. I saw somebody talking about being on a podcast on Twitter, and he was saying, like, yeah, I got to talk about all 8 Alien movies. And I was like,
No.
wait, what?
No.
And I was like, Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, Aliens vs. Predator, Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. And I'm like, just let it die. I want more of these. I want more. But I want
It's not too late. Stop. Turn around and leave. You have that option. People can say that.
I have no idea how I'm going to defeat Kellogg, actually.
I mean, ideally, the game should be designed that if you weren't able to beat him, you would not be able to advance to him.
Yeah, I think we'll just have to... We'll figure something out.
Won't be bothering anybody now. Want me to take a look at that terminal? Just say the word.
I mean, could you just do the thing that you could do in Fallout 2, where you just feed him a bunch of stim packs? Like, just feed him 20 stim packs and then go to sleep, and then when you wake up, his heart will just be, like, sprayed across the wall.
He just sort of, like, flashes this grin, and his face starts puffing up like a tomato. He's like, oh god, it's like at the end of Blade, where he fucking explodes. That movie's...
Somebody tweeted, like, if Blade were to come out this year, it would be in top 5 MCU films.
Wait,
God.
is...
Apparently Blade is... What?
Oh, I know how we're gonna defeat him. It's so simple.
Yes, we read the subs at the end. Blade was awesome. I remember it being awesome, at least. Kind of in the mode that it has no business being as good as it is, but it's one of those movies where the characters want things, and they do things that make sense in order to achieve them. And they look really good while they're doing it. And it has one of the single best lines I've ever heard in a movie, which is, some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah. What a good...
Are we using this indoors?
Maybe.
This is just a Piat that lobs a nuke.
That is exactly what it is.
You know that an F-16 doesn't have a very good chance of escaping the nuclear payload that it can deliver, right?
Nonsense. How do I level up? I've forgotten how to do that. Oh, there we go.
Stat. Oh, a mini nuke.
I think I just want to increase damage somehow. I'm just gonna take bloody mess, I think. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm only level 7. So I can't take these ones. God Slayer, Commando, Medic. Mr. Sandman.
Like, dear God, I'd hope the Little John is the stupidest weapon in this game.
Oh boy.
Could you imagine how pissed off Blade would be if they put him in the MCU? And Captain America and Iron Man and Blade are all hanging out, and Iron Man and Captain America are like, so what are we doing today? And Blade would be like, could you help me kill some vampires? And they're like, maybe we should go to Titan. And they're like, and Blade's like, please, I'm begging you. There are vampires everywhere. They run everything.
Sounds like fake news.
Or the... whatever the fuck this thing is called.
Fat Man.
The Fat Man? Or the Little John? Or the...
We only have one round? That sucks. Nick, hold very, very still.
Oh, only one round! Gorman, what do those things fire?
10mm armor piercing caseless. Standard. Or
Standard armor piercing round. Why? Well, you're below the primary heat exchanger.
if they fire... God damn it. Gorman's such a good character. I mean, all the characters in that movie are great because, like, he just... he's one of the few... Okay, there's an archetypal character that shows up in action movies all the time who's, like, the inept one. He's inept in a way that's, like, convincing and believable.
Yeah.
And he also, like, has redeeming qualities because he, like...
You know,
he wants to do his job, right? He's just a fuck-up.
Yeah, he's not terribly competent.
I always
hated
hated you, Gorman.
He's noble,
Yeah.
right? Gorman isn't a bad guy. He's just a complete, like, fuck-up.
He's an ass.
Just up ahead. My sins are standing down. Let's talk.
Ooh.
Should we save? Blade is actually part of the MCU?
No shit.
Does everyone else know that everything is run by vampires? That kind of fucks with a lot of the continuity.
You came a long way. Let's hear it.
You murdering, kidnapping psychopath. Give me my son. Give me Sean, now!
Right to it then, huh? Okay. Fine. Your son, Sean. Great kid. A little older than you may have expected. But I'm guessing you figured that out by now. But if you're hoping for a happy reunion, ain't gonna happen. Your boy's not here.
Tell me where he is, damn it.
Fine. I guess you've earned that much. Sean's in a good place. Where he's safe and comfortable and loved. The place he calls home. The Institute.
The Institute? Well, I'll find him no matter where he is. Nothing will stop me.
God, you're persistent. I give you credit. It's the way a parent should act. The way I'd be acting if I were in your place, I like to think. Even if it is useless. But I think we've been talking long enough. We both know how this has to end. So, you ready?
I'm gonna make you suffer.
Mop! Mop! Like, he ate that like a champ. I should have, probably... Oh, that hurt. Oh! That totally worked!
Huh.
That's
I would fucking hope so.
It's like, I'm the best oh, you fed me a nuke.
Like, just getting struck by the thing itself should...
You know, I don't think
you would think cave in your chest.
He probably didn't actually suffer very much at all. Oh, you know, I know what I'm gonna do. Oh, fuck. Is that all of them?
Hurting anyone else. Take a look around. Get all the info.
Like, honestly, I would really be much more... It would make sense to me if people were, like,
All this tech. You're very
repulsed
human.
by nuclear weapons.
Yeah,
this
actually.
setting.
Instead of just like,
Oh lol, it's a nuclear spigot mortar.
yeah. One more thing.
Ah, he's a medium.
Left or right? Left.
Proud of yourself.
Video games are mature.
Immature content. Oh, look at his fancy terminal. I had a 14-inch monitor that had roughly this level of distortion on it. Are we not as evil as them when we shoot them in the dick?
Kellogg wasn't giving us any bull. Your son really is on the inside. Even I don't know where the Institute is. And they built me.
There has to be a way, Nick.
We're in the weeds here. Time to take a step back. Bring in some fresh eyes. Only person I know willing to sniff up the Institute's tail feathers is Piper, a reporter in Diamond City. I say we head her way. Talk this through.
Diamond City it is.
Hey, chin up. I know the night just got darker, but it won't last forever.
Do we have to kill him?
I believe so.
I mean, that feels correct, right? He murdered our husband, kidnapped our child, and left us helpless for dead. Right?
I mean, it's just like he's gonna attack you and like not stop. I think it's more Kellogg is not giving you the option to not kill or be killed. So I just want to draw your attention to this stuff.
Yeah, that seems...
Brand spanking new.
Well, that's very kind of like a high 60s,
Yeah.
you know, Kubrick 2001 look to it.
This is like the little teaser for things to come.
And like, as opposed to the, you know, mid-century modern look of all the other office furniture. Right?
I'll just help you. Where the fuck? What are you drinking, Nick? You know that stuff will rot your brain. Yeah, so this is all Institute stuff, and you see it later. So because we only have like, geez, an hour and 15 minutes, we should probably start talking about where this game goes.
Okay.
So, your next task is to get to the Institute, and to accomplish that task, I believe you can choose to align yourself with one of a variety of different factions.
Okay.
And each of them has their own motivation for getting there, and each of them sort of, I think, brings their own particulars to it. I think I ended up allying myself with the Railroad.
Okay.
Which you discover them after going through a number of secrets, and they are a militia group that's like sympathetic to the synths and want to set them free.
Okay.
No matter how many humans they have to kill to achieve that, but
both sides.
Both sides of the coin. I'm just gonna take us back to. Well, actually, we're pretty close to. Oh, no, we're not. We have to go back here anyway. Oh, for fuck's sake! I think I need to get to the roof. So you find out a way to get into the Institute.
Okay.
And when you get there, you get the biggest spoiler of all, which is that Sean is like 70 or something, and he is the leader of the Institute.
Okay.
And that's like a big fucking deal and a lot for you to take in.
Right.
And he's not hostile. You walk in and he sort of like lays it out. He's like, we're the Institute, this is what we do. And, you know, they have this sort of plan for reconfiguring the human race. They have like a civilization underground that's, you know, working on this super high technology. And they are a faction that you can align yourself with. So you're left with this choice, whether you stick with one of the topside factions and oppose the and oppose the Institute, or choose to stay with them and I believe do the opposite. And so this brings us to my experience playing this game, which is that I chose to not
What's
pursue
this?
any of those.
Oh.
Stories coming at us.
These guys.
People of the Commonwealth. Do not interfere. Our intentions are peaceful.
They think they're in charge because they have the biggest ships.
We are the Brotherhood of Steel.
Vertebrates. Anyway,
I mean, yeah, I guess that's catch-22, right? They can do anything you can't stop them from doing.
yeah, pretty much. That's everybody. So what I ended up doing in the game was just like, I just kind of stopped. I was just like, I developed my settlement a little bit. I had run through tons and tons of side missions. I'd made my mark upon the landscape. And when I found out that the game was going to ask me to like annihilate a bunch of like women and children, you know, because the solution each of the factions has is blow up the Institute. Like they fucking blow it up.
And those are the only 3 levers you can pull?
Yeah, you pick who blows it up. And I was like, that's bullshit. So my headcanon was that I just sort of left these factions in, you know, equilibrium.
Right.
And that was like, that was interesting because it ended up actually being a satisfactory conclusion to the game for me, which is not what you would expect, because many games really, you know, hang their hat on how they end. You know, the last word is always the most important one. But
Well,
it's just
yeah,
like,
the player has to be the one to make that decision.
but I was just like, fuck it. There was a bunch of DLC released. I sort of dabbled in Far Harbor briefly, and then like at that point I think I was kind of done with the game, because the problem with this kind of a framework is that you can add more stories and so forth, but there's only like it can only feel so different with the same mechanisms. It's like you can add new enemies and new weapons and new items and stuff, and have different characters with different personalities and stuff, and that will add a little bit. That will elongate the experience slightly, but after a while it is kind of the same. It's like, go to location, kill enemy, take loot.
Right.
You know, it's fine, but
yeah, yeah, like okay, so we're made to hate the Institute because they killed our husband, kidnapped our baby, and left us for dead.
Yeah.
Okay,
and also they're creating they're doing these kidnappings, and they're really, why the fuck is fast travel not? Maybe I just need to go to the street. Sorry, go on.
So I assume once we arrive at the Institute, many things have to happen in order for us to feel conflicted about how we eventually decide to kill them all.
It's Yeah, and honestly, it's not hard, and it's like, in fact, like there's even, it's kind of interesting because there's I'm pulling all this from the last time I played this game. There's even like Discord within the Institute itself.
Okay, right. Well, people in chat are saying that the synths are slaves.
Yeah.
For them. So.
And the ones that like can figure that out and are aware of it don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, hopefully. Right. So there's no option to reform the Institute?
I don't believe so. And you know what? That would have been interesting. That like at the the door number 3 is reforming the Institute, where it's just like we're taking this thing public, sharing their innovations with the world, rebuilding society, but not like leaving it in the hands of one person or like. Because I think that their idea is just like, we know what's best. We're just gonna wipe the slate clean and replace it with new, like perfect humans. It's just like, that's dumb.
Yeah, like. I mean, fundamentally, I really want these games to be about learning from our past.
Yeah.
Right? We are, living inside the wreckage of a world that, when we've encountered it, it's being shown to us in, like, utopian terms. And, I mean, that also gets subverted quite a lot immediately, right? It's like, support our troops in occupied Canada, right, in the first game. But here it almost plays it very straight, right? Like the pre-apocalyptic introduction to this game is played in pretty rosy.
Yeah, you don't see much
terms.
of it, but it looks
nice.
It looks great,
right?
It looks really nice. I'm gonna park myself by the noodle bench while we sort of talk about this.
Well, and like war never changes. What do those words really amount to, right? War never changes because nobody fucking learns.
No, yeah, nobody
right?
tries.
Like
to do
nobody
anything.
tries, right? Everyone is surrounded by what war leads to, and everyone's like, "Well, how about more war? Can we kill our way out of this one?"
It's like, no. It's so simple. We just have to get we have to round up the right people and kill them.
Yeah.
Then everything will be fine.
Yes, as long as we find
Everything
all of
will
the
be-
right people to kill.
Well, who's making that determination? Well, me, of course. Ugh. So yeah, it's like it does offer you this sort of like quandary where what's become of your entire motivation is kind of interesting. Like the reveal of Sean being the leader of the Institute and being responsible for all this stuff. I think like does make you feel conflicted.
Okay.
Because it's like not at all what you expect. Because you've gone through so much to get there, and it's just like he's right there, but he's not at all what you expected. And is telling you these things and asking you these things, because he asks you to be his successor. And that's another option you can take, where he's just like, I'm gonna die because I'm old.
Right.
And evidently we haven't cured that. But he's just like, yeah, do you wanna run this place? Which, it's like, I know you're his mom or dad, but that's like, they really, really have to hand wave that one.
Yeah, like
Because it's like, you could, depending on the route your character takes, you could show up and just be a complete drug-addicted sociopath. And he's just like, yeah, you can run the Institute, and everybody would go along with it, because you're related. It's like, that's some good nepotism. It's just like, and I would like to name the successor to the Institute, and, this person who's just like got a jet nozzle in both nostrils, wearing nothing but a top hat and like dual wielding Fat Man nuke launchers, and just like, I'm a wrecking machine. So I think that's a type of dissonance that comes from a game that is trying to tell a particular story, but also leave it open to, you know, the role playing. You know, you play the game how you want, which is like within a fairly not linear, but like limited framework. Like the things that, you know, you can build the shooty character or the punchy character or the talky character.
Right.
You know, with a little bit of sort of flexibility between them, but like it's mostly a game about blowing everything up, and then you know, hitting a couple of switches. So I think that my most rewarding experiences in this game were the ones that took place outside of the narrative itself. Like the narrative is a useful lead to draw you through the world, but just like exploring the ruins and seeing that, like just taking in as a first-time observer the like state of, you know, Boston as it exists in this continuous, it was like really interesting. There's so much to see. In fact, I'm gonna wait and then maybe we can just
Hey,
wait till
give me a
dawn.
sec. Gotta check
How do I wait?
How's the noodles game, Jack?
Maybe we'll just go south until the
Okay, well, I mean, like, could we do one of those side quests
yeah.
to just get a bit of texture?
That's a great idea. Like, we can continue talking about it. I'm going to pick a direction and walk, and whatever we encounter, we'll maybe do.
Okay, do we want to take another quick break? While we head into our final hour?
Sure.
Okay. 5 minutes again?
Sounds good.
Chat? Just a quick little break. Go and do some self-care, and we'll be back shortly to wrap up the stream with the final thing.
Yeet.
Hey, we're back.
Head bangs.
Head bangs.
See, now
The
you-
greatest rule ever put down in a tabletop war game.
It's like, so you want to use psionic powers.
Yep.
Wow.
Orcs in Warhammer 40k have powerful psionics, or powerful scions, psychers is the term, called weird boys. And weird boys, when their critical failure on their psionics chart is called an edbang.
What's an ed bang?
It's kind of an onomatopoeia, I guess.
Oh, your head explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got into some topic about self-destructing things, and you got me thinking about Black Magic, M66, where when they capture one of the robots, it self-destructs because its armor is made out of like ball bearings
Oh yeah.
and like little flechettes, and it just like stands half upright and explodes and wastes everybody.
Awesome.
Anywho,
Yeah. Let's get back to it. We're gonna wrap up and do one of the side quests since we can't really advance the plot much more.
so
in the
I
time
want
left to us.
to head south because a bunch of people are clamoring for me to show you these, you know, wait a minute. Ah, there we go. That way. The glowing sea, which will definitely kill us and be a great place to end.
Ooh. All right.
Can we survive the glowing sea? Of course not. So, thoughts.
Okay.
Somebody was actually pointing out something interesting. I think I only caught a bit of it. It's just like, you know, if the most gratifying parts of the game are the sort of incidental things, you know, why have a story? It's like, I actually think that it's wise to... Oh, super mutants. To have that sort of framework... Oh, dear God, this is just embarrassing. For you to follow, as much or as little as you please.
Well, also the writers who are working on side quests have a much easier job than the people working on
They really do.
on the main story, because the main story has to be robust enough to survive all of the machinations of, you know, a studio that might require the work of hundreds or maybe thousands of people over the course of many years.
Ooh, we can see the glowing sea from here.
So why do they call it the glowing sea? He asked.
That's where the bomb fell.
Oh. Oh, is it full of trinitite? Kind of? Alright.
It probably has some trinitite. That's not maybe the biggest thing
Oh.
that you should have on your mind, but... Okay, I think I'm just gonna go around these boys. So yeah, do carry on.
Where was I? I forget now. I mean, this cross-country experience here reminds me a lot of Stalker.
Yeah, actually, like,
Well, I think when we played Stalker, we wound up saying it felt like a Russian version of Fallout.
And vice versa. Like, one of the reasons I like this series so much is because, like, it and Stalker have a lot of similar experiences. Like, this one's a lot goofier and there's more weird shit going on. Stalker is definitely much more like played serious, like played straight game. But they both give me this experience of just like I usually travel these games with no companion. Like I took companions for a while, but I think my own personal purest experience of playing these games was when I was just on my own, you know, sort of surviving by my own wits and just like following whatever I felt like doing. That was very compelling gameplay for me.
One other thing is that this world feels so much smaller than the one we had in Fallout 2 because it's contiguous, right? Like, by making it a world that you can kind of travel in first person instead of overworld map to local map, it winds up the continuity of the experience winds up making it feel smaller. I mean, this world isn't small.
No, it's
right?
very big.
But the fact that we can kind of just walk to one corner of it in the course of an hour, and that's something you could also do in Fallout 2, right? You just say you're going here on the map, and then, you know, your icon moves there. That's an interesting brain thing, I guess, is where I'm going with that.
Okay, so this is the edge of the sea. Oh, we'll be fine. So you thought the rest of the world was ruined.
I like the Aurora Borealis over it. The kind of like the shredded magnetic fields.
I loved this place when I explored it because it was so oppressively hostile and dangerous and just like I don't know why I enjoy the gameplay experience of like being in places like this.
I mean, this would be where I would. This is what I imagine this looks like. I want this.
The whole world would probably look like this,
right? Like I remember, God, probably 15 years ago, there was a Punisher comic.
Yeah.
Marvel did this thing where they did like every character has a comic where they die. Right? We're gonna kill every character in their own side comic, and it'll be its own thing, and it's not really part of continuity. But we want to, you know, basically examine what the last thing each character would be. And the Punisher's comic was the Punisher gets sent to prison.
He gets shot?
No, he gets sent to prison, and the bombs fall.
Oh.
And Punisher winds up sharing a cell with a guy who worked on the nuclear-proof bunkers for the United States' leadership.
Holy moly.
So after the bombs fall, Punisher breaks this guy out of prison and they go and hunt down all of the remaining politicians who are responsible for. And it's like this, right? Like Punisher's face is falling off from the radiation.
That's pretty mega.
It was was it a Garth Ennis book? That makes sense. Right, and Punisher dies, but before he does, you know, he kills everyone. He kills the last humans on Earth. Basically. You know, it's debatable whether Punisher is an extinction level event for humanity.
There's a site that I'm faintly remembering that I'm hoping I'll be able to find out here. I don't actually know if there's weather. But yeah, this place is like... The Commonwealth is a fucked up place to travel around in, but this is just like something else.
Like this is otherworldly.
Oh yeah, and it's...
It
like, there is just this, like, feeling of loneliness because you, like, don't encounter that much stuff. When you do, it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm truthfully a little bit surprised that we haven't yet.
Yeah, like, this is...
Is that it?
This is exactly spooky.
Maybe.
What the shit is this? Who built this?
Oh, I don't know, but let's, check it out. It's a relay tower.
Yeah,
oh,
this,
right.
This feels hellish.
I think these relay towers will boost the signals of nearby podcasts. Oh, there we go. So Skylane. Actually, we can pick up on some of these signals.
Whose radio are we listening to?
I think it's over here, maybe. Here we go.
The low draw distance of hellscapes in video games. I mean, that was also how John Berger described hell. In what is it? Against the End of the World.
Yep.
Where he talks about not Bruegel, but Bosch's depiction of hell.
No power in left engine. Boston Center, Skylanes 1665 declaring an emergency. Left engine failure. We're out 15-3 at this time.
Copy that, Skylanes 1665.
Just wandering around this, knowing how this story ends, but still listening to it.
That's a negative, Boston Center. Losing altitude too quickly. We will not make it to runway.
1665, say again?
We're going down. I repeat, we're going down.
There's a flight data recorder.
1665, 20 miles out.
Oh, he didn't describe it as low draw distance, but he says that if you look at Bosch's paintings of, like, you know, the Garden of Earthly Delights, right, the Garden of Eden, the horizon is kind of like at a midpoint in the painting, but when he shows hell, the horizon, there is no horizon, right? Because there's no escape, right? A horizon is...
Dinger.
A horizon implies that there's some place other than this, right? But for Bosch's hell, there is no other place, right? This is the entire world.
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep wandering around, see what I find. because they throw a whole bunch of like interesting little sites out here that are similarly nightmarish. Oh, a local.
Sounds like Ellie wants to talk to us. We should head back to the office next chance we get.
You seriously think we're gonna live through this? Oh, you'll be fine. Oh, honey, no! We fucked up. Time to go.
What?
Time to go. Time to go. Ah! Sorry. I didn't think that there was also a scorpion. Okay. At least it was quick. Coming out here without power armor was a mistake.
What the hell is that?
Okay.
Some kind of light from the north.
There's a storyline quest that you end up coming here for. Way into the corner. There's a there's an NPC who's hidden away.
Oh yeah.
And you find him out here, and he's just like, "How did you find me?" Oh, I know. Just going to turn invisible. Which, no, you can't see me. I'm fucking John Cena. Boop ba doop boo. Boop ba doop boo. Where? There is something I'm after. I don't remember where it is. Oh, my thing faded. Oh, that's Boston. That's the
Oh, that's the airship.
yeah, that's the airship. Short draw distance.
Nick has stopped shooting.
He's fine.
He's asleep. Don't worry about it.
Just in sleep. Oh right, you cannot go that way. So this is the real actual edge of the map, where it's implied that there's more, but it's just kind of like the DM being like, it looks as though the terrain ahead is impassable. Oh, it cleared up nicely.
Ooh.
So you can see all the way into downtown. We should probably start working around to a so what.
Okay. So the what of this game is, you know,
That's
when we talk about a what and a so what episode, this comes from an old English prof I had who said that a lot of us were very good at writing what statements, right? Like, this work uses this technique. We needed to develop our so what statements. Or like, so what are its themes? So what is the
being eaten by bugs,
yeah,
turning green.
what's it trying to do? So the what here is that, you know, we have a first person or third person post-apocalyptic role-playing game scenario in which we are trying to we are navigating a somewhat recognizable major American city in a post-nuclear wasteland, trying to find our son, right?
It's a pretty good elevator pitch.
So what does all that amount to? How does it leverage our existing game literacy? Right? We click on heads, they go away. We expect our adversaries to throw challenges at us that we are expected to surmount. I mean, so far what I'm seeing from this game, it doesn't do anything like terribly revolutionary, but it's a very adept implementation of a lot of existing mechanisms.
It also uses some of the systems proven in Fallout 3 to good effect. Like, it takes the VAT system and refines it a little bit, because in Fallout 3, the VAT system would freeze time solid, and in this game, oh, for fuck's sake. Exploder kick. The slow motion makes it a little bit more of a, like, it kind of bridges the gap between it being entirely turn-based and entirely like active action.
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember where the fuck. To the right. So you were saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, so all of our existing game literacy is that, you know, we're going to experience this game as a power fantasy, essentially, right? That we have, you know, numerous ways of overcoming these challenges, whether, as you said, we want to make a punchy character or a shooty character or a talky character.
Yeah. Which are, broadly speaking, your categories. It's like, do you want to play N cleric? Or the Fallout equivalent of being a cleric.
But, I mean, fundamentally, this is still a game.
Oh, I found it! Yay! I stumbled right onto it.
Huh.
This is just a cool piece of architecture.
That's unusual.
Huh.
Huh.
Somebody left their fucking atom bombs out. I don't know if we can actually go in here. Oh, we can. Neat. So
Yeah, this is not a place of honor.
Nope.
Have any of you watched that documentary?
Into Eternity? You
Yeah.
should. It's very, very cool.
It's very good. It asks a lot of interesting questions.
Don't go into Unkalo. You don't want to come here. Don't do it. Oh. Did you lock the vault when you went out?
I remember talking a bit about watching this video series where this extended family bought a decommissioned missile silo out in the middle of nowhere in the United States.
Oh yeah.
And we're refurbishing it. Right? I'm like, oh, this is so cool. This seems like a really neat project, and this seems like a cool home to live in, right?
Yeah.
And as they go on, like they make it livable, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right? And I think Lord Hosk, one of our mods, was like, do you honestly think if these places weren't enormous money sinks, the US government would get rid of them? I can tell you,
Yeah.
having been in the army, we don't get rid of anything useful. Ever.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm trying to remember the lore behind this place. But yeah, like a lot of the dungeons you go into have their own sort of personality. Like some are very densely populated and sort of bustling. Others are quite lonely, like this one, and they're spooky.
But I guess where I'm going with this was that, or with where I was earlier, is that this doesn't feel revolutionary, right? This is a very competent implementation of a lot of very familiar elements into a cohesive whole that's an enjoyable experience. But a lot of what we take for granted here is kind of upsetting, right? Like we're clicking on a whole lot of heads in this game.
I was
right?
also
I'm assuming that life, like, you know, this is a harsh world. It doesn't seem like life is cheap here.
No.
Right?
I was also going to say that you don't have to do anything revolutionary to do something good.
No, yeah, you don't.
That's not to say you shouldn't try if you're so inclined, but you don't have to necessarily reinvent everything.
No, that's a very good point.
Where's Nick? God damn it, Nick. Yeah, so that's why I thought, like, you know, this game's it's just good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, when I was talking earlier about Blade, right, and I said it was a fine movie because, you know, it has characters who do things that make sense in order to achieve their goals. And that's, you know, the baseline criterion you can expect from a movie where you're not like, this is stupid. This seems like that, right? The characters wanted to do a thing, they had a plan, they executed their plan. It all makes sense.
Hey, I aborted the launch sequence.
I assume that's good.
Maybe. You tell me. Ooh!
But
Oh, fuck.
yeah, like the one thing I wanted to talk about earlier was that in these games you're always playing a soldier of some kind, right?
A warrior or what have you.
Yeah.
A violence
You know,
dispenser.
You call the archetype Steve.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's a different thing, actually.
Oh, is it? Like
All Steves are warriors, but not all warriors are Steves.
Okay. What I'm thinking is the character who is like ex-special forces. So you have an excuse for knowing how to use a rifle to click on heads.
You gotta hit these blockbuster bombs just right. Deep cuts to the 1940s there.
Wasn't one of the better ways of deactivating a nuclear weapon to hit it with a hammer?
Probably.
I mean, what I would... a term that suddenly entered... well, it didn't suddenly enter, but that has come back into popular discussion on the internet is postmodernism. Postmodernism is... Okay. It's a branch of literary theory wherein you look at how does this work? You ask the question, how does this work? What is it doing? And this is opposed to modernism. This came after modernism, which was like, what is the point of everything? Came out of the First World War, basically, where people are like,
oh shit,
what does any of this actually mean? Postmodernism went and looked at the structural elements of how things work, right? And from that you got like a lot of feminist literary theory, a lot of Marxist literary theory, a lot of post-colonial literary theory, where you're looking at giving people tools to deconstruct power structures in literature and in pop culture, and examining how our pop culture enforces our existing power dynamics, because we don't see it, right? Mm-hmm. One of the questions you can ask is like, how do you explain wet to a fish? Yeah. Right? How do you detect the one atmosphere of pressure holding you together? And so one of the things in that is that why does our character know how to use a gun? Right? We chose the non-soldier character, although maybe our lawyer character was also a soldier, right?
Hey, you pick it up.
I guess so.
It's fine. I mean, the argument can be made that it is something that you spec into.
Mm-hmm.
We cool? We cool?
The hell was that?
Oh, it was one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we also know how to pilot power armor, which in the previous game, or Fallout 1 and 2, was, way down the skill tree.
Oh, it's right behind me, isn't it? Come on, one time. Catch his hands.
But this game gives it to you right away, and that's not wrong. It's a very cool thing. The power armor is kind of iconic to the series, almost literally, right? It's on all the box art since the first game.
Yep.
Right? So maybe the thing of just giving you the power armor at the start of the game is fine, but it has this dissonant element to it, where it's like, why would our character who is a lawyer know how to use military power armor?
It's fine.
It's fine, right? I mean, because video games.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Right.
Hey, there's people living here.
And I think we've brought this up a lot before, but games buy shures, right? Or movies will buy a sure from us. And what that means is that, like, wait, why does our character know how to use power armor? Sure.
It's fun.
Right?
Don't
it's
care.
fun. I don't care. I'm willing to not suspend disbelief, but say sure. Because I want to pilot the power armor.
Because it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't care. Hey, we made it!
And this game does a good job of printing shures from it, because the overall experience is kind of entertaining, and the writing is fun, and the characters are kind of neat. So if to answer the question of like what would you want from a revolutionary experience, it would be one that examines the premise of the game and decides to abide by it, essentially. Right?
Well,
Like maybe violence is really scary.
yeah.
Right? Like maybe a bullet wound isn't the kind of thing that you can slap a bandage onto and walk away from.
Revolutionary to me is just something that bucks some or all of the trends, especially the ones we take for granted. Like, you do something really... In fact, sometimes you do something just a little bit different. You know what I mean? It's just like, we told the movie out of order! You know, and it's like, that's super cool. It's the revolution, the first time you did it.
Yeah.
So for a video game, I think that in order to be revolutionary, you would have to look beyond just like, what items can we put in this game and what enemies can we put in this game. It's just like, I mean, we're basically talking about Undertale at this point, where it's just like...
Well, Undertale kind of like... Undertale is exactly the kind of game you would expect an English undergrad to write. Right? Where they're cognizant of all of the storytelling techniques that are used by game designers and decide to, you know, take them apart and examine them all. And it was really interesting because it did that.
Yeah, or Papers, Please is a good example. It's just like, a lot of the games we've talked about on this show, and a lot of, you know, my favorite games, are very good experiences, but a lot of them, in fact, almost all of them, take place through the through the framework of the first-person shooter, which is like kind of its own language now, and it's not a bad language. It works. It is very serviceable. It performs exactly what it needs to do. But at a certain point, like, every story that you could tell through this lens looks similar.
Yeah.
And I think in order to do something revolutionary, you really have to break through it. And I'm not talking about, like, putting the camera somewhere different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, maybe something even as simple as just, like, what instrument do you place in the character's hand? Most of the time it's like a gun or a knife or something, or a hand grenade. Because, you know, those instruments are well understood, how they work, and how you're able to interact with the world. And they're cool and fun and loud and whatever.
You know, they provide secondary gameplay experiences where you can customize a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Say.
But what if it was a mop? And then you get Viscera cleanup detail.
Yeah.
Which, again, a small change, but it really, really, quite dramatically and fundamentally alters the type of experience, the perspective from which you experience it. Your priorities shift. Because you're like the utensil by which you interact with the game, I think is important. It's maybe more important than people think. Because like most of the things, you can categorize them all as just like the character gets a weapon. Doesn't matter if it's like a gun or a, you know, grenade or a fucking staff that shoots, you know, fire or something. They're all weapons. And ultimately those only really have like a few ways of interacting with the world.
Right.
And I think that there's an enormous number of other implements or utensils or what have you that could be placed in the player's hand that would make for completely different, really interesting experiences. Like, you could put a book in their hand. You could put a screwdriver.
Yeah, well, in Beyond Good and Evil, you have a camera, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a few games have done that. You know, a spatula, a pencil, you know, and all of, like...
Yeah, like, we could have a Doctor Who game where we have the sonic screwdriver, right?
Yeah.
We could have a Star Trek game where we have a tricorder.
Yep.
Right?
A bag of your own poop. You see what I mean? Like, the... What's under the cursor is important, and we've built an industry around, broadly speaking, one type of implement being under the cursor, and it's had a lot of successes, and it's driven a lot of research and technology that has refined this type of game to a razor's edge, where you have like the best special effects and the best rendering and all this other stuff, but on some level that they are sort of still doing the same thing. It's like,
right, and I mean, it does kind of train you into looking at a lot of, like, when all you're given is a hammer, right?
everything looks like a nail. Yeah.
Right. And occasionally you can give yourself challenge mode by doing a pacifist run
It's
of
like,
one of these games.
But what if I didn't hit any nails? And it's
Yeah.
like, that's pretty wild, but that's not, that's not really the framework that the game is giving you.
But you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? It's a Chivo. So
Actually,
yeah, like I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
the tools the game gives you will will determine how the player behaves, right? So if you give the player weapons, they're going to see a lot of conflicts or opportunities for conflict.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's usually gated in these kind of games where there are no conflict zones, right? Like, your quest hub, you're generally not allowed to shoot anyone there.
Yeah.
Right? Or the consequences are,
like so
insurmountable.
Yeah. So
right, infinitely spawning high-level guards.
which is maybe kind of like more interesting than just no, you can't do that. I do kind of prefer games that well, I don't prefer. I am interested by games that sort of use consequence rather than constraints.
Well, like I think of Halo, the original Halo, where
of-
you can actually shoot Captain Keyes in the head at the beginning of the game.
Really?
Yeah, Cortana calls the Marines to the bridge, and it just spawns wave after wave of basically unkillable Marines.
That's pretty cool. I was thinking of Dark Souls,
Oh yeah, yeah.
where the number of like truly impenetrable doors in that game is not a lot.
Yeah.
Like the second sort of half, but there's a few very important doors, but for the most part, you can kind of go wherever the hell you want, wherever you have sufficient knowledge to navigate, and wherever you have sufficient balls to put up with the the menace that exists there.
Right.
And I think that's a really intriguing way of designing a game.
Okay, yeah, where you take the thief's key right at the beginning, right? And you can go all the way to, like, I don't know, you can go into New Londo, or you can go into the catacombs.
Yep.
You can whoops into those places quite easily.
Yeah.
And this also isn't like a request for hyper-realism,
No.
right? Because that sucks.
Yeah,
right? Like, it generally doesn't make for very entertaining gameplay.
I was watching Boris doing a demonstration of a new Stalker mod that came out, and it was like the stalkerest Stalker mod that ever stalkered, where like you're winded after running 10 feet and like everything's killing you and you're just running out of health all the time. It's like, that's just fucking annoying.
Yeah, it seems just really unpleasant.
It's like, at a certain level, there's kind of like, there's a reason I'm playing a video game.
Yeah, it's like if I wanted to get winded after running 10 feet, I'd go outside.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of things that we take for granted in video games, that our character gets inherently more powerful as we go on, right?
Yeah.
In RPGs, your character, with very like few, usually narrative exceptions.
Yeah.
Your character gets more powerful as the game goes on, instead of maybe acquiring also downsides, right?
You know what I want to see? A game where you start very powerful, and you have to regulate your losses very carefully so that there's enough of you left at the end to finish.
Well, that'd be kind of interesting.
Right?
There was a webcomic I read years and years ago about playing a game where you start off with like the most powerful weapons and the highest level, and you at the end of the game you have to give away everything until you're using your bare hands, and you've lost all your levels. And the joke was that it was a Buddhist role-playing game. But like, I mean, I played XCOM a lot, and your soldiers there do this have this very interesting thing with their power level where they start off terrible, and they get better as the game goes on. But there's also this ceiling that starts coming down on them.
Oh, interesting.
And pushes them down because they start acquiring trauma, basically.
Oh man, that's interesting.
Where they're the more they become wounded, the more time they spend in medbay, the lower their morale gets.
Oh,
or the
geez.
lower their maximum morale
Until
gets.
they're
So you
so
can have
shell
like,
shocked that it doesn't matter that you're the greatest sniper in the battalion. You can't get out of bed.
yeah.
That's really interesting.
So you kind of have to carefully manage bring in new rookies, right, to cycle things
Somebody else
along.
pointed out Darkest Dungeon, which is another thing. I mean, I think people are definitely starting to play with those things in those kind of senses, like, and it's definitely making for interesting experiences. You know. But yeah, the so what of Fallout is a good game, well done. Yeah, it takes a bunch of it takes an existing IP, a bunch of existing ideas, executes on them very well. Maybe lacks some of the granularity of prior games, but what it loses in that, I think it makes up for in like everything being pretty functional.
Right. Like, and I guess my complaint about it was that it feels it's a game that has an interesting science fiction premise, right? And forgets that it already had a science fiction premise before that, right? Like, if the science fiction premise of there is a rogue element hiding inside the Massachusetts Institute of Technology that's creating essentially undetectable artificial synthetic humans, and it's kidnapping people and replacing them with synths. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds like an interesting sci-fi story. And then you're like, I just described the new Fallout game to you. And I'm like, that was already a science fiction story. That seems to have forgotten that it's already and maybe that's because the Fallout experience has been explored.
Well,
I mean, I don't think it has, but it feels like at this point Bethesda has been like, we could tell this completely unrelated story inside this other one.
Yeah, I mean, like, you might be onto something. The idea of like a post-apocalyptic wasteland is not. It's maybe not even like a core sort of. What's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like the wallpaper at this point.
Yeah.
It's not like the conceit of the game is that it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland. That's just the setting.
Maybe that got tapped out in Fallout 1. Maybe if you want that, you go back and play Fallout 1, which is like Fallout 2 is still a fine game, right? But Fallout 2 had already moved on from the premise of being like, well, the world's fucked. What do we do now, right? Where in Fallout 2 you start off being a descendant of the Vault Dweller, right? Where this is your normal.
You know what would be kind of cool to take this a direction to take this series is like. Somebody pointed out, focus a lot on the rebuilding, which this game does a little bit of with the settlement building mechanic, but pick up, I don't know, like 50 years from now or something, like semblance of civilization is returning, and you come at a critical time where civilization is starting to come back, but opportunists are looking to make the same fucking mistakes because they're greedy assholes.
Right. I mean, like, rebuilding America could be a compelling theme for it, but so far I haven't really seen, maybe it gets into it later, but like, the building of America was not a clean, elegant process, right? It was
Yeah.
There's...
I'm gonna level if you can.
America was built on piles and piles of dead bodies. Most colonial nations are.
Yeah.
Right?
This game, I don't feel that it directly references America.
Okay, fair.
As a theme. It's full of it as like a kind of a window dressing. And also just like as a subtle, maybe unspoken or maybe like unintentional thing, because it's like they're building synths, which are a slave race.
Yeah.
Which are going to rebuild America. Again. Like the White House.
Yeah.
I truly don't feel like that was a statement they were trying to make.
But,
Because
like-
there's not really any parallels that they draw that are like direct comparisons. But it's there.
Yeah, well,
That's
I mean, like...
that's a reading, and I think that's a very valid reading of this game.
Yeah. Like, whether it's intentional or not, I don't know. Right?
Hard to say.
And it fundamentally, it kind of doesn't matter whether it's intentional or unintentional. If it's present, then it's part of the game, and it's kind of like, well, what about this? And they're like, oh, we didn't mean for it to mean that.
We weren't trying to be political. It's like, well,
It's,
did you know through omission you can be political?
yeah.
The choice to not be political is political.
I mean, it's the politics of the status quo.
Yeah.
Right?
Like we want everything to stay exactly the same and not have any trouble.
Yeah, like what? Explaining wet to a fish, right? And that doesn't mean the game isn't fun. It doesn't mean it's
No,
not
it's
a good
good.
game. I've enjoyed it. But yeah, we look at pop culture because it's where we see ourselves reflected.
Yeah, and with this game, as with many others, what's reflected is a variety of things. What do you see reflected in Fallout 4?
Well, I mean, we've talked a bit about it, but like the idea that conflict is resolved primarily through violence with a secondary motion of maybe talking your way out of some things. And that is viewed as not only like ideal, but it's something that's rewarded. The game system rewards you for killing people, right? Or for... Technically, the system rewards you for overcoming challenges, but the tools it gives you to overcome those challenges usually involve clicking on heads.
Yeah.
So that is how games do, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've found a framework that functions, and it's, you know, something that's popular, and so that's played to. You know, people love playing, you know, cops and robbers. You know, it's fun and exciting. In a sense, maybe like the amount of, you know, action, excitement, and, you know, violence inherent in these games is an expression of like things you're kind of not allowed to do in modern civilized society. And,
Right.
You know, perhaps this is like a form of outlet for that.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is like probably more constructive than than the regular way, but I do like that, you know, these sort of games allow you to have the kind of experience that if you were presented the actual option to do so, you would never in a million years take that. It's like, what if you could live Fallout 4? Fuck no, put a bullet in my nose.
Yeah, it's like what's your zombie apocalypse survival strategy? It's like, I plan to get eaten by zombies probably, because as an internet clown, the world has only, in the last 18 months, really developed to a place where I can make a living doing that, right? It's going to take thousands of years where my skill set becomes relevant
How
again,
fast would you have
post-apocalyptically.
to run at a brick wall to achieve lethality?
Oh god, faster than I could run.
What if you had somebody throw you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm really big. It's not going to work.
Yeah, but you see, like, Joey's got big hands.
Well, then you can fucking give it a shot then.
Alright. Anywho, I like this game. It's cool, it's interesting. As with everything else, it's, you know, worth questioning what, you know, gets made and is popular. And
This I love.
yeah.
This is great. This is...
You know what? You're probably right. I almost would love an expeditionary game where the whole game's like this. It's just like outrageously oppressive, like super... Actually, give me a game that takes place like 5 years after the bombs fall.
Well, isn't that 76? Isn't Fallout 76 supposed to
Is
take
it?
place like 18 months?
Wow.
You're the very first vault to open. Was the pitch
did
that
not
I was
know
given
that.
for that game. I haven't been following it very closely.
Well, we'll see.
But I would have loved it if the game opened and your neighborhood was this.
Like
right.
like a settlement?
Yeah. or not even the settlement, but like you were like, holy shit,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I don't think it would have. Actually, no, I don't think it would have worked for this game. I want a Fallout game where you open the vault doors and this is what you experience off the bat, and making it to Diamond City, for example, after this would be like, right? You would just hug the first person you saw,
You know what would be
right? Well,
You know,
snot
be great.
streams
Okay,
down
okay.
your face.
The pre-credits.
25 years?
Yeah,
Okay.
the pre-credits sequence is somebody else who exits 18 hours after, and you get to play for 5 minutes. Like, oh, just for the fucking spectacle of it all.
Right.
And then you pick up like 18, I don't know, months later.
Yeah, it's like, well, we had a peek outside through the periscope. What did you see? Static. I thought it was an optical periscope. It is. And the person has a tan.
Okay.
Should we thank subs?
Thank subs.
And then we'll be back. We'll be bringing the stream down.
For tomorrow, I think that Graham might be doing con prep rather than watch and play.
Okay. That makes sense. PAX is coming up this weekend.
However, I'm going to maybe do something else.
Okay.
There'll be a thing.
All right. And I think next week on Talking Sim, we talked about looking at a game I've been playing a lot of. Which
Stellaris?
Stellaris.
Yeah, which I don't know anything about except that it's a space game.
Yeah, it is a space game with spaceships that shoot at each other and aliens.
Yeah. If y'all like us and the stuff we do, we're gonna be at PAX.
Well, not us.
I'm not gonna be at PAX.
And I also will not be at PAX.
So people not in this room will be at PAX.
Yeah.
So you can touch their butts.
Graham, Kathleen will be there for a little while at least. Beach, Heather, Ian, Corey, Ben, James. We'll all be at PAX. And
let's go say hi.
Stop by our table at Bandland, buy our delicious and nutritious shirts and other merch. And
do not actually eat the shirts. James said there was enough money for everyone? What?
buy enough shirts.
I just didn't want to go.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah. PAX was causing Julie and I some stress, so we were like, if we don't go to PAX,
You won't have stress.
and we were like, I think that that might work out better.
Yeah. It wasn't causing me stress, but I was just like, just not feeling it this year.
That's fair. PAX is a big thing. It's a
PAX
really
is a
big
big
thing,
thing, and if you
that
haven't-
happens for 4 days straight.
If you haven't gone, go. It's like, definitely experience it at least once. But once you've been to a lot of conventions, and the novelty is like totally expended. For me, the experience at PAX is primarily hanging out in lobbies, where the best parts are hanging out in lobbies with friends. There's nothing at the show that I particularly care about.
Yeah, I mean, like the show floor was. I've been to it a few times, and the show floor was mainly like, "Hey, want to stand in the line for 2 hours to play a game that's going to be out in 2 weeks?" I'm like, not really. A lot of people seem very enthusiastic about that, and I don't begrudge them that at all.
No,
but
not for
me.
Anywho,
but yeah, the whole experience of hanging out with friends was excellent.
A+. Also getting to sample some of Seattle's fine food.
Yeah, how's PAX? Seattle's awesome.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I like Seattle.
All
right,
okay, so subs and bit donors, thank you all for supporting us. eBlock started off by giving us 100 bits, saying, always donating to 2 great lures people in a great game.
Ping! Jericho Plays for 23 months, 2 of my favorite streamers. Thanks for what you do.
Ka-ching. I guess that's the experience noise.
Yeah.
Zanto69 gave us 50 bits, yay for Cam and Alex.
Ryan restarted for 9 months, celebrating making through my first week of game dev grad school. Some talking sim. Oh!
Ooh.
How flattering that you would use us as research.
Thank you. Inadvisably Twee is a brand new subscriber. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for deciding to support us.
Butts for 9 months. Here for the start. Too bad I have to be responsible and go to sleep for work tomorrow.
Ooh.
Wah, wah.
Well, I mean, you made the correct decision. Gerard123456 is resubbed for the 5th month. Thank you.
And KKid4878 just subscribed. Welcome.
Rainbow Phoenix 06 is resubbed for the 23rd month. So excited for Talking Sim, my favorite show of the week. Thank you.
Oi Otter sub for 34 months. Sneaking in a sub before a ridiculously early flight to PAX. If I don't make it before the stream ends awake, I guess I'll see you there. You won't, but
The
you.
editorial.
The
y'all.
editorial, it's still
The royal.
still
y'all.
scans.
Zed Alpha sub for the 31st month. God, I love this series that y'all do. Thanks. Also wish me luck, because if the second round of interviews for this pest control job go well, I'll be making moderately more but still life-changing amounts of money.
Destroy the evil.
GL, get them rad roaches.
Yeah. Psycho Coop just subscribed.
Manocule is resub for the 11th month. Hey guys, just want to say thanks for the stream. In particular, I had my first panic attack for the first time in a long while, and watching you wander around the wasteland for many hours was just the thing I needed to calm down. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah. Panic attacks are no fucking joke.
Sorry.
Anchapom just subscribed.
Musical Pulse resub for the 5th month. Thank you very much.
And J. Tigwell just subscribed.
Revenant77X resub for the 19th month. Cameron, I recently started reading the Culture series on your suggestion, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Thanks. Also, 19 months, it's almost a year. LOL.
Xanto69 for 100 bits. I can't stress this enough. Play Oblivion. You don't have to sink 100 hours into it, but you need to play Dark Brotherhood questline. It's the finest storytelling in video games.
Oh, well.
Halt Criminal Scum. I'm on it. Honestly, I'm probably never going to play Oblivion at this point. Like, I missed that window of being able to like play it and have it be relevant.
Yeah.
Or just like a thing that I want to do.
I mean, I might give it a shot. I can't guarantee anything, but I'll look into it. Benvolio has resubbed for the 11th month. Wait, what? Make It Tokyo is still going? The romantic interest girls in it must be nearly of age by now. Where does he get the plot conflict?
Man, okay. So we need to do a harem comic that's like crossed with the timelines of Blame. So like in the future, there's like one guy with just like these never-ending oceans of like waifus.
Oh God.
And he's got like this weird, cybernetic infrastructure that like keeps them all sustained. Oh God, it's the Golden Throne. Only you feed like
waifus to the Emperor, and he's getting nosebleeds all the time.
Oh my God!
Oh, sorry, I clicked on that one.
Where are we at? Pseudonym Cam for 28 months. Please keep being awesome.
Type 1 has cheered with 100 bits. Who's this thirsty fellow? I assume some kind of rad thing.
Torpor Bunny just subscribed.
Don't forget the bay leaves is just subscribed.
I want to make some bolognese now. E-Block cheered with 100 bits. Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity. Ping!
Comrade 09 resubbed for the 60th month. Thank you.
Professor Falconer for 4 months. What's the conversion rate from Bezos bucks to caps?
Turns out caps are just the fiat Bezos bucks.
Jeez.
I guess. I don't know. Doodles the Great gave us 1,000 bits.
Holy
wow,
moly.
This is my favorite game in the series for one major reason. I was never even slightly interested in being part of the Enclave, and I couldn't give a rat's rectum about joining Caesar's Legion. But until I discovered certain actions they had done, I was sorely tempted to join the Institute. Screw the Brotherhood, those guys are jerks.
Yeah. Silent Intern for 12 months. Hey, 1 year Lamau. Thanks you guys for all the joyous, happy fun times and all the stuff about video games. Keep doing what you're doing, and I will keep giving you my monies.
Zatego has resubbed for the 27th month. Let's play a game, shall we? Alex, describe Cameron in 2 words. Cam, describe Alex in 7 words.
Smart human.
I am finding this very, very, very difficult.
Nice. JD Church 117 for 11 months. Have I been here long enough? Can I go home? You can
Never.
go home, but you can never leave? Wait.
Yeah. Welcome to the Hotel Twitchifornia. SA Icon Jr. is resubbed for the 39th month. 3 and 3 squared amount of joy from you wonderful folks.
The Charging Badger for 19 months. Hope you boys are enjoying the rads.
Russian Malware is resubbed for the 24th month. Has it been 2 years?
That we got infected with Russian malware? Evidently.
Nice use of the passive voice.
I'm not the one that installs
no, yeah.
the watch and play games.
Since the Russian malware infected the moon base.
Yeah, they're just like the pink slime oozing out of the CD tray.
Yeah.
Wait, we don't have a CD tray, do we?
Well, not anymore, but it was Russian malware. Maybe it was a tape.
Maybe. Skeech just subscribed.
Chance has resubbed for the 35th month. Thank you.
Banrail cheered with 50 bits. Throw some bits in too. Thanks for the stream, y'all.
Oh, well, thank you. A Trophonian has resubbed for the 32nd month, 32 months after the bombs drop, and I'd be happy to watch Talking Simulator.
Z Alpha cheered with 100 bits. Also, what point does start to sound like an angry Geiger counter?
God, I hope at no point.
That'd be bad.
Milda's Games TV gave us 50 bits, saying if you have ever played Hearts of Iron 4, there's a community-made mod for that. It is essentially in the Fallout universe that portrays the rebuilding of society that you were describing. Oh, interesting.
Malism cheered with 100 bits. Wish me luck. I need to get to bed for an early interview tomorrow at a community college STEAM STEAM or STEM?
STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
And no fucking STEAM. Lab is a lab technician, which will be awesome if you get it. Great.
Nice. Or maybe it is literally a STEAM lab. Good luck. Z Alpha gave us 100 bits, saying in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only kawaii.
Ben Volio with 100 bits. Blood for the blood nose. Waifus for the Dakimakura throne. Jesus.
There must be a Dakimakuru that has a bolt gun on one side.
Probably.
And a bolt gun on the other side.
Or like a field strip bolt gun.
PB Blackcoat gave us 100 bits, saying I can make you say things. Within certain limits, probably, yeah.
Malism with 100 bits. And here's the other 100 bits I tried to give you.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, so you're going to be back tomorrow with...
Something.
Yeah, pick and mix, something, hopefully. And I will be back on Thursday. I'll be playing Magic with Adam.
Sick.
I think on Lure MTG.
Yeah,
and then do you want to try to get like a paper thing going on Friday night?
I do.
I would like that as well. there's nothing
Some
currently
kind of
planned, but I would like to play Paper Magic on Friday night on stream for y'all.
The idea was floated of doing Highlander, which we could do. Could also like Cube or something.
Yeah. I mean, I never get to play Lander.
Yeah?
I would like to play Lander.
We'll see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, we'll see if we can scrape up enough people for some kind of Can Lander tournament. We'll talk about it. No guarantees. That would be my vote, but we'll see what Adam wants to do, what Paul wants to do.
No 5-hour Commander game.
No 5 hours.
You're describing one of the top reasons I don't play that format.
Oh, one game in 5 hours. But you can play so many more games. So, yeah, okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us... Oh, Chevalier de Flamingo is resub for the 18th month. Plane Chase Can Lander.
Probably not. So
Probably not. It's not really our format.
Yeah. And El Weirdo for 25 months.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Okay, for real now, we're saying goodbye for the night. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you in the future. Take care of one another. Later, everyone.
Bye.